All right, everybody, welcome back. We're diving into a topic that's probably on a lot of people's minds, especially if you're dealing with a condition like epilepsy.
It can definitely feel overwhelming, right? Like just one more thing to worry about on top of everything else.
Exactly. We're talking about life insurance today, that essential thing that helps protect your loved ones. But when you have epilepsy, it can seem like a whole other ballgame, right?
Absolutely.
So that's why we're here to break it all down and hopefully make it a little less intimidating. We've got some great information from Diversified insurance brokers.
Yeah, they specialize in helping people with pre-existing conditions get the coverage they need, so they're a great resource.
Okay, so let's get right to it. The big question, can people with epilepsy actually get life insurance?
That's the first myth we need to bust. It's not an automatic no, like some folks might think. Plenty of people with epilepsy have life insurance policies, and it might be way more attainable than you'd expect.
So there is hope, but I'm guessing it's not exactly a walk in the park either. Like, there are probably a lot of factors that come into play, right? Like how much it costs and if you even qualify in the first place.
Right. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation. Insurance companies go through this process. It's called underwriting. And basically, they're assessing your individual risk. And when it comes to epilepsy, there are a bunch of things they look at.
Okay, so let's break it down. Let's say someone's listening and thinking, all right, underwriting sounds kind of scary. What are some of those big things they're considering?
So first and foremost, they want to know the specifics about your seizures. Like what type are you experiencing? There's the ground mal seizures. Those are the ones most people picture. Loss of consciousness, convulsions, the whole nine yards.
Yeah, those are the ones you see in the movies.
Exactly. But then you also have what are called focal seizures. Those are where the activity is more limited to just one part of the brain. And then there are absence seizures, which can be super subtle. They're, kind of easy to miss sometimes.
Wow, so even within the category of epilepsy, there's so many variations.
Oh, absolutely. And the type of seizure you have definitely plays a role in how insurers assess your risk.
Makes sense. And I'm guessing how often you have seizures is a big deal too, right?
Oh, huge. Like that's a major one. Frequency. If you're having seizures every week compared to, say, once a year, that's going to significantly impact things. And they also look at how long you've been managing the condition.
Oh, so how long since you were diagnosed?
Yep, exactly. The longer you've been diagnosed and stable on a treatment plan, the better it looks from an insurance perspective.
Right, because it shows you're on top of things. They want to see that track record.
For sure. Being proactive about your health is key.
Okay, so far we've got the seizure type, how often they happen, and how long you've been dealing with it. What else goes into this risk assessment?
Well, medication, that's a biggie. Are you taking medication? Are you sticking to your prescribed regimen? If you are, that's a major plus because it shows you're doing everything you can to manage your condition.
It's like you're proving that you're taking it seriously.
Exactly. And it really does make a difference.
Okay, so medication adherence, check. What else are they looking at?
They'll also dig into your hospitalization history. Have you been hospitalized recently because of seizures? Because that can raise some red flags, suggest that things maybe aren't as stable. And then any other neurological conditions you might have will also be taken into consideration. It can complicate things sometimes.
Wow, okay, that's a lot to think about. But you mentioned earlier that even with all this, there are still options, right?
Yes, absolutely. Don't despair. There are actually a few different types of life insurance policies that people with epilepsy can explore.
Okay, tell me more.
So there's what's considered the gold standard, I guess you could say, and that's a fully underwritten policy. Now, these usually offer the most competitive rates, but the catch is they require a medical exam.
Ah, okay, so for someone with, say, well-managed epilepsy, they're in pretty good health overall, this would be the ideal route.
Precisely. Now, if a medical exam is a no-go for whatever reason, there's another option called simplified issue life insurance. Think of it as a middle ground. You skip the exam, but you'll still need to answer some health questions.
So it's like a little less intense.
Yeah, exactly. It can be a good fit for folks with less severe epilepsy or if it's, really well controlled at this point.
So that's good to know. But what about people who have more frequent seizures or maybe haven't found that stability yet? Are they just out of luck?
Not at all. That's where guaranteed issue life insurance comes in. Think of this one as the safety net. With this type of policy, you're automatically approved. No health questions, no medical exam.
Wow, so there's really an option for everyone.
Yep, pretty much. The trade-off with a guaranteed issue is that it often comes with higher costs, and sometimes there are waiting periods before the full death benefit kicks in.
Got it. Okay, so we've laid out the options. But I'm sure everyone's wondering, how do I make this affordable? Because life insurance can get pricey, especially if you have a pre-existing condition.
Right, that's the million-dollar question. And one thing that might surprise you is that a healthy lifestyle can actually make a difference. I know it sounds simple, but things like maintaining a healthy weight, Exercising regularly, eating a balanced diet, these can impact your premiums.
So taking care of yourself is good for your health and your wallet.
You got it. It's a win-win. Some insurers even offer discounts for things like joining epilepsy support groups because managing stress and having that community support, it can be so important for your overall well-being.
So it's not just about physical health, but mental and emotional health as well.
Exactly. And of course, as we talked about before, adhering to your treatment plan is crucial. If you can show that you have good control over your condition, that can be a major factor in getting better rates.
It all goes back to being proactive.
Exactly. And this is where working with a broker can be a game changer.
Like Diversified insurance brokers.
Exactly. They know all the ins and outs of different policies, and they can help you find the best fit for your individual situation. They can even negotiate on your behalf to make sure you're not overpaying.
Having that expert in your corner is so valuable. So the big takeaway here is getting life insurance with epilepsy, it's totally doable.
Absolutely. Don't let the process intimidate you. There are options out there.
It's about understanding your options, and working with the right people.
Exactly. If you're feeling lost, reach out to a specialized broker. They can walk you through it. And honestly, it can give you such peace of mind knowing you have that protection in place.
That's such a good point. And it makes you think, life insurance is just one part of planning for the future. What are some other things people with epilepsy might want to consider as they're building a secure future for themselves? That's something to ponder, maybe, as you go about your day. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.